Hello, sports fans, race car lovers, and others. And welcome back to another episode of Dirty Sweat. I'm actually really upset because last week we said that Thursday was the winter solstice. Now, winter solstice means it's the middle of winter and we downhill to summer. I don't understand this weather, being a weatherman stuff, because it's still cold in Joburg. But I believe Cape Town, welcome to the wet stuff. You don't have to come up to Joburg and use all our water for showers anymore. And Gary production, they didn't do their thing. Hola,
sidekick. How are you? How are you, my friend?
Who's your sidekick, Tonto?
You were given a name of sidekick during the week.
And how did this come about, Gary?
I don't really want to go there, but you're known as my sidekick.
Go there, Gary.
Go there.
Go there fast.
We had a discussion last week about certain things and things that were happening, stuff that was happening.
Just to recap, that would have been the separate sources, impeccable sources out of Europe, who told us that Blancpain is definitely coming to South Africa next year.
Okay,
definitely.
Now,
according to sources.
Okay, but you know these things happen.
Who's your frickin' sidekick?
Okay.
You know what?
Yeah,
the best thing ever is that when you had that phone call, and that person said to you, "I'm not happy with your sidekick," but that was the ultimate from a source immensely close to the probable promoter of the definite Blancpain race in South Africa next year.
Okay.
When they phone and they cock on you, Gary, because your sidekick split the story, you know for sure, boom, we got it right.
You know what? Yeah, we did.
I believe you got more stories.
Yeah, I got more.
What's this other one you've got? The other one, you send me an SMS or what?
Yeah.
Because you bypass production again, which I love.
Yeah.
Because they need to know that they're not the ones who rule this show. This show is about you and me.
Well,
it's not about this.
Think of it this way. It's been a fantastic couple of days in motorsport worldwide involving South Africans.
It was a full load.
Yes. I mean, can you believe it, guys? A woman went out and won the Desert 1000. How's that? Think of that.
Well,
a lady drilled a lot.
Okay, so chicks rule. It was also Sunday was the first time that women are allowed to drive legally, officially in Saudi Arabia. And of course, what happened? The accident rate. How did that move? I'm not going there. But I think it's absolutely awesome. You know, frankly, motorsport is one of the things
Stop calling me frankly.
Wow. Okay. Motorsport is one of those things that it doesn't matter what sex you are, as long as you have. And, you've got Lena Gade, she's won Le Mans, she's won a whole bunch of other stuff from the engineering side. You've got Susie Wolf, Toto's sidekick, who's now heading up. She's now just been parachuted into Rescue Venturi for season 5 of the Formula E. And this is a shocking show because we're going to talk about another bit of an electrifying news. And so, frankly,
Frank, listen, sidekick.
Tonto. Actually, it's a non-issue. The sooner we get over labeling people and all these frickin' labels, we just love cars.
Language.
I said frickin'.
Yes.
I'm angry. I don't like boxes.
Children can spell and interpret, so think about it. There could be a couple of youngsters
talking about
watching
children.
Yes.
My son-in-law's birthday was yesterday. Nicholas Preston.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Nicholas.
birthday, boy. I hope it was an absolutely magnificent day. Father of my grandchild, husband to my daughter.
This is going to take long.
But
we're going through my sidekick's whole family.
I wanted to buy him a GT3 car for Christmas. For his birthday.
And?
So I went to Lego.
And they don't have one.
No, they do.
Oh, yes.
And not only can you buy a car, you can buy a 488 GT3 Ferrari. It is magnificent. 269 rand. Oh, by the way, we're back at Piccolino's in the heart of Fourways, finest beer in South Africa. Jack Black was and is a pirate, a great friend of the show, but we prefer building castles, preferably not in the sand. So anyway, that was the story about Lego and the GT3. But Gary, you distract me immensely, and these butterflies go, oh, production.
Now, hang on a second.
Production.
I just mentioned.
How do you like the
I
notes?
just mentioned a
The
woman
notes.
went and won this 1,000, and you went somewhere else.
Were. That was
Hey, up to the girls. They went and won the race.
never mind the girl, the ladies.
Yes.
That was Kutsia and Sandra Labuschagne. And
Yes.
But they won it in the special vehicles, which it
Hey,
actually
it's
doesn't
a
matter.
win-
They
a win
won
is
it.
a win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Heads
Talk-
up to the girls. Girls.
Talking
way to
about
go.
that, just hold on a minute. Talking about winning, because this show's all about winning. To our Korean friends, Tai Giso, I believe it is. Tai Giso, well done. To the Germans, Tough Tacky China.
What are you? Are
Do
you?
not.
are you-
Korea beat
Are you trying to tell me Germany's out of the World Cup?
I know nothing about that game. Girls play
Okay.
it, they lie on the ground when they get kicked. But I love it when the little oaks come. So basically, Samsung beat Mercedes-Benz. Boom!
I like the way you put that. By the way, just hello to a couple of people out. Brett Garland, awesome.
How's it,
Thanks for
Brett?
joining us.
Oh, his glasses, Gary.
Sheldon Sukhoi, nice for joining us as well. Henke Vandenberg, thanks, brother. Love your info.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to Botswana.
Oh, we going? Yeah, because that was where the Desert 1000 took place.
And I
the
haven't-
girls rule.
Yeah, the chicks rule.
Yeah.
So, Sandra, well done. Mooi gedaan. Dis nou ongelooflik. I'm a man of languages.
Keep going. I'm not stopping you. I'm just looking.
I think. But you. No. Sorry.
Guys,
Sorry.
life is about fun, having a party, and trying to have a big jaw.
No, Gary, this is
that's really
serious stuff.
This is
but
really
we
what,
enjoy it.
Yeah, this is really where and why we do what we do, because we just love living and we love life.
Right. And that's our motivation to go forward, because we love life. And so, Taikiso, Samsung. Right, so we're going to the Toyota Desert Race. Toyota
Desert 1000.
Desert 1000.
Yeah.
And what happens normally when a sponsor, a motor car company sponsors their own race?
They win it.
No, they don't win it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but, so this is, except for Toyota,
Oh, okay.
because they run by the world's finest race car rocket scientist.
You're a rocket
engineer.
scientist. Okay.
And I had a bit of a chat with a rocket scientist, and there's a bit of a theme with him.
Yeah.
And he's the chief rocket scientist of all rocket scientists, Glenn Hall.
Okay.
So this is the 7th straight victory of Toyota. Oh, just by the way, Janelle de Villiers and Dennis Murphy won it, and Johan and Werner Horn were second. Guess what car they were driving? Toyota Hilux.
Oh, okay.
And third was Gary Bertolt. Guess what car he's driving?
Toyota Hilux.
Toyota Hilux.
Yeah, but hang on a second. That is in the top end category, because we have different categories
That's
in
like,
that.
no, that's overall.
Those are the
Because we're going to get to your friend and mine, who I actually wanted to ask to come and join us, but I don't know. We'll get there. So Toyota won 1, 2, 3 in the production class.
That's right.
They won their own event. They won the FIA. They won Class T and Class S. So basically, they creamed up. They won everything. And thank you very much for coming. Oh, and they sponsored it. And the irony of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Terence Marsh ran one of his new cars. Okay, there was a bit of an issue with one of the other new cars where it lasted not very long, and then
Just so I
went-
understand, you are talking about the Nissans here.
yeah, Terence
okay,
Marsh.
fine.
He
He
builds
doesn't-
the Nissans with the V8 motor in it, and one of his cars burnt out. We don't know why yet, But
Burned out as in history, or just had a fire and they couldn't go any further?
some people don't take my phone calls, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted Terence to come and join us tonight. So Terence, if you're up to coming along to Piccolino's down Witkoppen Road to be here, our limo will pick you up. In fact, I think we should just get the helicopter to bring him in, because Terence is used to helicopter transport. That's how he rolls.
I heard he's scared of heights.
What's she like? It's like I used to live with danger, and then she told me to go away.
Terence,
So I don't live with
we'd
that.
love to have you on the
Terence,
show.
there are two things you need to do. Come and talk to us and tell us straightforward. And number two is, we know that you are tight with Nissan. Tell them that we need a Nismo GT3 here, especially as a Blancpain is coming to South Africa next year.
Yeah.
And we need to learn a whole lot of things. Right, so let's just talk about Desert 1000. Henk Latergaan, Hein Latergaan's Lati, was doing unbelievably well. And then the 100 kilos from the end, it stopped. Now, just remember, this is a 1,000 kilo
What
race.
stopped?
His Toyota,
Fine, just asked. Sorry, I asked.
his FIA Toyota Hilux, what. So they do 50 Ks on Friday for qualifying, 44 kilos on Saturday, 424 on Sunday, so it's sort of round about 1,000 kilos. And so Glenn says to me
What?
that he stopped because a clutch shaft broke. And now this is the fantasticest thing. Now,
This is your rocket scientist.
my rocket scientist. Now, you know, when you talk to the rocket scientist and you say to him, why did this happen? And he will give you a proper engineering explanation as to why something happened.
Yes.
And there'll be some materials involved in it, and maybe some design and testing, and the FMEA, and it is absolutely stimulating. I love talking cars with the rocket scientist of chief rocket scientists. So I said to him, Glenn, why did it break? Guess what his answer was?
God, we're all dying to listen.
Because it wasn't strong enough. So
Okay.
I just cracked up. I haven't had a chance. It's only Wednesday, so I haven't had a chance to get with the Chinas and but classic. So you're expecting a proper technical explanation, and this is. We spoke about the design philosophy of these new FIA Toyota trucks, where there are two main issues in fact, three main issues, Gary.
Yeah.
One is center of gravity, get everything as low as possible. Two is polar moment of inertia, bring it all down to the middle so if the car's, check out the Tuli, hello Tuli, thanks guys, the Tuli thing, it's indestructible. It's a 5-year-old phone. It's been through Dakar, it's been through a whole lot of stuff. So when we talk about polar moment of inertia, if this is the car driving along like this, polar moment is how it turns around its axis. So it can turn into a corner and come out, and it's I suppose, nimble. And the other one is absolute lowering of friction. So in order to get the polar moment of inertia down, you bring all the heavy stuff to the middle, and to get the center of gravity down, you make it all super low. So just imagine that you've got an engine in the front of your vehicle.
Is this like a Formula One car? Get it as low as possible with as maximum ground clearance as possible.
It's like a mini skirt, brother. Maximum ground clearance.
Yes.
Absolutely. So the motor goes back, and when you move the motor back, there's all sorts of packaging issues, because luckily it's all independent in the FIA class. And we're going to talk about Terence Marsh, who we'll helicopter him in next weekend. No doubt he'll go with. They run in the FIA class. It's independent back axles. Class the other class T, I think it is. It's for solid axle. Essentially, those are the big differences. But you're now sitting with a motor, a gearbox, and a
thingy.
prop shaft of about that long. Believe it. I mean, everybody says
It's that long. Family show. Careful out there.
Gary,
Yes.
that was a trap. feel tricked. Oh, I feel like Rodney Childress.
Why do you feel like Rodney Childress?
Because Rodney Childress got sold the biggest dummy in the trap of all. Okay, so we'll go there now. So we've done Desert 1000.
You try and tell me I just sold you a dummy.
Yeah. Terrence Marsh won, like he needs it, the second best sponsored race team in South Africa.
What did he win?
He won the Dakar Challenge. No, he didn't. He came
the Dakar
second,
Challenge.
which basically gives him a guaranteed and FOC entry into Dakar. Terrence, well done. I think it's freaking awesome.
Congratulations, friend.
So that means
I hope we're going to be talking about you come January next year.
Well, I hope we're
going
to have a Dakar next year, because now it turns out that the Peruvian government has got some sort of second thoughts.
Talking about governments, we're going to discuss something else a bit later.
Yeah, but hold on. I want to go to my dummy that I got sold.
Hold on a sec. Oh, yeah, okay.
The bestest dummy in the world. So I'm a great fan of NASCAR. I love it. I think it's the best thing in the world, and it's incredibly difficult. And
one thing we can guarantee you in the show, we're going to flip-flop between this, that, and who knows what else. Butterflies.
Moth. Butterflies gone to sleep. Moth. Okay, so
it's not the fairy. It's not the Happy Poo Fairy.
No, the Poo Fairy is still coming, because the Poo Fairy arrives, and it's the theory of randomness was actually developed from observations of the Poo Fairy. It sort of arrives and just drops a load here, drops a load there. Martin Truex Jr. NASCAR raced at Sonoma in wine country in California. Basically, there's four of them in the hunt for the championship.
Yeah.
But my man Kevin Harvick
came out top.
No. In a Ford, and Martin Truex Jr. in a Toyota. And so they go, race. AJ Allmendinger, I felt really, really bad from them. They come out of the really tight hairpin first gear, and they rev them to like 8.4, 8.6, second, third, and he went from third to one. And it went, wee! And anyway, so he was leading, and then he wasn't leading anymore. There was lots of smoke, and he was very distraught. I mean, poo happens. That's why you have sequential gearboxes, but it's also kind of a cool thing where you still got an H-pattern gearbox, and you've got some issues. So now, basically, it's a race between Harvick, my man, in the Mobile 1 Ford.
Yeah.
Mobile 1. And Martin Truex Jr. in the 5-hour Energy Toyota. And now Harvick's ahead, and into the last stage, they're sort of 40 laps from the end, and it basically is the tires in NASCAR, they fall off very quickly, like 2 seconds within 5, 6 laps. So the idea is that whoever's got the freshest tires, he's going to succeed. It's like most things, fresh tires, fresh bread, fresh.
Yeah, and then?
So they come to the pits, and Cole Pern, who's Martin Truex's crew chief, says to him, come in, pit. And he's running second, and he doesn't pit. And so they do this for 3 laps, and then each time he keeps calling Truex in to come and pit, hoping that Harvick takes the dummy. So Harvick takes the dummy. Truex goes and runs another 5 laps, ends up on fresher tires, wins the race. Life is fantastic. Right. So that was the dummy that got sold.
Then
and then something happened.
But then we go over to
it was awesome.
What a couple of South Africans have been doing on the international platform.
What have they been doing, Gary?
And just before we go there, I just want to say hi to Mark Hope. Welcome, thanks for joining us. Hilton van der Westhuizen, how are you, brother? Ashley Walker, nice to have you in there. Brandon Free, are we cool dudes, Brit?
Oh,
yeah.
That's because we're in Joburg and it's still freaking winter.
Yeah, and did you know that Brett Garland,
yes,
the guy that we spoke to earlier, he went gallivanting on a Desert 1000, didn't invite us, didn't race.
And
but
didn't send us any news.
Yeah, and sent us a ball, but now he's trying to send
news.
news.
He's like,
yeah, but Brendan, that's how life goes, eh?
Brendan, can you just get hold of our production people and, so that we can have proper input into because we've got a huge production team, it's a huge team to develop a show of this caliber.
And then we got Reinhard Gelderblom. What has football got to do with motor racing, brother?
No, we said Ty Gusar.
Yeah, but he
because
said
Samsung drilled Germany.
yeah,
Love it.
but motor racing is also a good reason to have a beer.
Okay, so then we went back to, speaking of that, of which,
Yes.
did you see at the Alfa Romeo 500 at Swartkorps
Yeah.
how South African breweries had activated in the VIP area?
No.
Which I think is fantastic because basically Motorsport is a fantastic place to tell people don't drink and drive.
Yes.
And you and I are the best examples of this
Because we don't drink and drive.
Do you know why? Because it's not clever and
Accidents
frickin'
happen.
dangerous, and your limited faculties get impaired, and you know it's not good.
And you and
So
I both have
talking
very
about
limited
that,
faculties. Or
you're
don't
not-
we?
it's a family show, not.
I
You're not allowed
said
to-
faculties.
I know. I just heard the first part. Butterfly. So, were you talking about? Hold on.
We were talking
because
about South
production
Africans
screwed it up. So
overseas.
I've got a book.
Yeah.
And a book with. Look, I wrote it because
If any of you guys can read his writing, good luck to you. Because he's battling.
if
Now
I can
listen,
read it.
now
Okay,
listen,
so
just hang on a second.
Long pain?
We were talking about South Africans overseas.
yeah.
And you know what I saw? There was a race. It was a Formula 3 race. And you guys might have seen the post that we put up.
Are you going to pronounce the drivers' names, Gary?
No. But there was a shot where a car drove in the back of another car.
The car at the back drove into the car in the front because the car in the front didn't go anywhere. We know the guy in the car in the front was Dan.
Yeah.
Dan stalled it.
Yes. But it was quite an horrific scenario. And what I thought was actually so fantastic was Dan's car that got totally mashed at the back. And this is, by the way, this is the same race that Chris Aberdeen is driving in. Unfortunately, Chris went a little bit wide in race 1 and on lap 2 and spun out. And I never actually found out what happened to him in race 1. But what happened to him in race 2, maybe you guys can fill us in because we'll talk about it. But they managed
production didn't do their job.
Yeah.
Bastards.
No, but they managed to rebuild Dan's car
Look, it was destroyed proper.
proper
And the FIA
enough time to put him into race 2. And what does he do?
goes and wins it.
Boom! The boy wins it. Heads up, Dan.
And the FIA are having an observation with Mr. The guy's name, and I can't even begin to pronounce it. So, out of respect, I won't. They're investigating that. Okay, so that's Formula 3. Then we go to Blancpain at
Then we got
Misano. Blancpain.
And the
They
South
make
African
brilliant
boys,
watches, by the way.
the
So-
South African boys keeping the flag flying.
And it's so cool to see. So mom and dad are in Joburg, and the kids are away playing racing in Misano. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So race 1, Chris Mies and Alex Riberas win it in an Audi, and then a Mercedes and a Lamborghini and another Lamborghini, and then Stuart Leonard and Sheldon van der Linde were 8th. Kelvin and Stein Schothorst.
4th.
No.
5th.
No.
Pick
no
a
way.
number.
They
You're
didn't-
talking about race 1.
Yes, Gary. Don't you see the note? It says race 1. NC non-classificación.
Yeah.
So,
for
what
those that
happened
don't
is-
know, that
Gary,
it
tell the
stands for
story.
DNF.
Yeah, DNF. They didn't finish.
Basically, what happened? Sheldon went out first stint, came in. His co-driver took over, went out the pits, and got whacked going into turn 1. They managed to get the car back to the pits, but it was too damaged to get it repaired to finish race 1. But they managed to get it out for race 2.
Race 2 was much better. So, Mies and Riberas won it again in the Audi. Will Stevens, Dries Van Turen in an Audi. Audi 1, Audi 2, Audi 3. Kelvin, Audi 4.
Sheldon, Audi 5.
No, 5 was a Mercedes-Benz. 6, Gary, the notes say 6 was Mercedes-Benz. Was Sheldon in the Audi, then another Lamborghini. And then 8th, Glenn, senior rocket scientist, oh great one, was a Lexus RCF GT3 8th. Freaking amazing. The blue one, that Glenn, you chose the right color. Because when I said to Glenn, please will you bring one here, he said to me, sure. And I asked him for the blue one, he said no problem. I think he may have been joking, but one can never be sure. Never really be sure. Interesting little thing that comes out of there.
Yes.
So Sheldon and Kelvin and the Audi boys, they go and they do their pit stop practices and try and all little bit counts.
Yes.
In the 1 hour races, they arrive in the pits, driver jumps out, another driver in,
Yes.
tires,
Yes.
and they bolt.
Yes.
15 seconds. I just want
You
to park that there.
And that,
15 seconds. So then we go back
and they,
to...
but in that scenario, they don't have as many guys on a car like a Formula One team does. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but that's...
No. I'm just saying the way they go
it's
through
mind-blowing.
it's mind blowing because
Absolutely.
you go ba 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 ba.
In fact, it's electrifying.
Talking about electrifying.
Yes!
How was that electric energy? Just took over a hill by itself.
So everybody, we go and we go on about, where's that place? George, Samola.
Yes.
The Samola hill climbing,
Yeah.
and then Reggie comes along with a standard road car and drills everybody, and then they get all upset. Reggie, the Flying Dutchman, would love Pikes Peak. So just a couple of things about Pikes Peak. 19, call it 20 kilometers, 156 corners. On average, every 3 and a little bit of seconds, the car's changing directions and moving to an apex. They go from 1,400 meters, which is kind of like Pretoria altitude,
Yes.
to 4,300 meters, which is kind of very high.
In other words, something that sucks oxygen will suffer.
Right. So you saw the notes of production that our technical department prepared for us. No, we've got some engineers and rocket scientists and all of that in the back room. And Gary, without a full team of support, you and I are just clowns. So we've got to keep our circus going.
Hey, sidekick, speak to yourself, eh?
Tonto. So the higher you go upwards, the lower the air pressure. The lower the air pressure means there's less air. So with less air, what happens? Normally aspirated car, it can't breathe so well. The aerodynamics don't work so good. So the thing isn't being pushed onto the ground.
Yeah.
But what the good part of the aerodynamics is that there's less drag. So there's less drag, which is slowing the car from going down, going faster.
Yes.
But there's less downforce, which doesn't help it to stick.
Now, what makes all of that electrifying?
We're getting there, Gary.
Okay.
And then the last thing is the cooling.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot less cooling. So until now, 2 years ago, they go and they tar Pikes. In fact, 3 years ago, they go and tar Pikes Peak.
The hill.
Yeah, the hill.
The ultimate hill.
The hill, brother. And you know what? It's in Colorado, which is like the middle of like...
Zip nowhere.
No, it's hipster country. They smoke grass, ride bicycles, grow beards, and think they are so cool. But anyway, they are. So when Peugeot pulled out of Le Mans, they basically took a Le Mans car and modified it a little bit, and Sebi Loeb drove it up the hill in 8 minutes and 13 seconds to shatter the record. So that was considered as absolutely amazing. So 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, when Volkswagen pull out of Motorsport, what are they going to do? So, go and play at Pikes Peak. But instead of taking a normal,
normal car.
These things look, well, they're not normal. They look, the Peugeot looked like a prototype.
Well, somebody once said in one of the comments that I posted when I posted a picture of this car breaking the record, okay, somebody managed to put a car under a wing.
Yeah.
That was a comment.
We'll go there now. So they build what they call an IDR, electric car. Got electrics on the back and the front, electric motors. It's got huge batteries. And so now the thing with a battery is that a battery-powered car, it only has to last 10 minutes. So the biggest disadvantage of battery-powered cars or electric-powered cars until now has been the weight. So the energy density per kilogram for an electric car is it's very heavy to have the electric. But now for Pikes Peak, they only needed to last 10 minutes, and then they coast down. And Gary, interestingly, the only time they ever get to do one run is on the race morning.
You mean a complete run?
A complete run. They do.
All the other runs are tests from.
They're just little sectors. So they go and and there's 78 odd cars in this, and there's some Americans who shouldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't drive a grease stick up a.
Slowly.
They couldn't drive a nail
Sidekick.
in a wall with a big hammer. So they test him, and they go from the bottom third of the hill, and then the middle third of the hill, and then the top part, and then only on race day. And they wake up like stupid early in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're out there getting ready to go, and boom, and they go and do it. So the
Romain
Dumas, another Frenchman. The Yankees are going to get. They've got the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
Donated by France. It's turned back to look back to France, to Paris. French. Loeb goes there. Frenchman.
Yes.
And then the Germans come. They can't play soccer.
That wasn't nice.
No, well, they can't. They came second to a bunch of TV manufacturers. But the Frenchman can drive.
I ain't going there with this guy.
7 minutes, 57 seconds. And, okay, so now here's the coolest thing ever.
Of what?
7 minutes, 57 seconds to go 20 kilometers up the hill from 1,400 meters to 4,300 odd meters. It's a mud of a lot. It's hell of a high. Lots of corners. 156 corners.
Yeah.
Gary, it's a big deal.
Do you know?
Let me finish this thought, because otherwise it's whoosh, it's out. He wins overall and sets a new electric record. And he
a new hill record.
Yeah, but that's the overall. And he beats the record, so the electric record goes from 8 minutes 57 was the old record to 7 minutes 57, and the old record was held by Rhys Millen. Rhys Millen, the famous American hill climber, who you will know because Rhys Millen goes and takes the ugliest car in the entire world. It is ugly to look at. It's a Bentley Bentayga. It's very ugly. And then they make a lime green one of it, and he goes
in
and
the
sets,
SUV.
In the production SUV class, Rhys Millen goes and sets a new record in
a SUV.
In a SUV. I mean, 11 minutes.
I have a question for you. Do you know who Paddy Driver is?
I do.
And
do you know who Paddy Driver's son is?
Hang on a second. Do you know, is Paddy Driver South African?
Yes, and Paddy Driver has a son.
Yes.
Who is an electric motorbike.
Yes, and he went up the hill and also defeated the records like it was going out of fashion. So I can't remember, I don't know what his son's name is, but to Paddy Driver's son,
do you know what his...
Bingo.
Take a guess what his name is. I'll give you...
Dan.
No. 2 more guesses, Gary.
Well, it's obviously not Paddy.
What? Right.
Okay.
South Africans rule. So they build at one of the universities in England. They build an electric motorbike.
Yes.
It's a research thing, and their whole they actually built it for Isle of Man, and they go and run. I think they won the electric Isle of Man class this year, and then they took it to America, and it was so funny. On Twitter, he sends out a picture and says, guys, we got our gearing wrong. Mm-hmm. And he's taken a picture of the
electric
motor. No, the gearified thingy. Because it's got like a chain and all the rest of it. And so there's a gear there and a chain. And on his iPhone, he's marked it up with a PCD and all the rest of it, tweets it out to people in America. Please help us to get this new part made, because they needed to change one tooth on the gear.
Oh, so they got a gear. They needed to take it down by one tooth.
Well, they needed to change.
Okay.
Because I've got Alzheimer's. I can't remember whether it was up or down. They needed to change. Anyway, they got it done. And so there's another South African connection. So we will claim from South Africa that we won Pikes Peak. We took over Colorado. We took over Botswana. We took over Masana, because our boys were there and we said they won. Then
and now?
Harvick. Oh, do you know what the connection with Harvick?
What?
Kenny Howes, who ran Ian Scheckter in the
March.
No, in the March, yeah.
With the 4 wheels at the back.
And then also in the... No, man.
Oh, okay.
In South African Formula 1 and Formula Atlantic, and then built... I don't know if you remember, Sarah van der Merwe had that Capital Radio... No. He had a Colben Schmidt Escort, and Ian Scheckter had the lowrider.
Yes.
That's Kenny Howes. Kenny Howes heads up the technical division of Hendrick Motorsport in NASCAR. Right, South Africans frickin' rule China.
By the
We've
way,
done
Brian Gregory saying hi to
that.
Trevor. That's awesome. Michael Walk, you're late. We've been on air for like
Is
20
that
minutes
Walk
already.
or Volk?
Volk.
So he's
Michael Volk.
coming to race.
No,
No.
not that Michael Volk. This Michael Volk is an ice hockey player. He used to be able to
I
skate.
get scared.
Now he builds buses.
Okay, so now...
Yes. Oh, we were going to talk something politics.
Yeah.
We don't normally do politics
hold
on our
on.
show, but this is...
You called me a sidekick.
Yes.
Because
sidekick.
why? Because I had some sources. My sources
Yes.
said, no, and okay, now so come, sidekick. What's your story?
No, I'm also sidekick. There's a rumor, not started by us, but started by an Englishman, that due to what Mr. Ramaphosa has been up to, FIA is looking at South Africa to come and run a race.
Yo. Gary,
Does that throw enough kittens amongst the cats? I mean, pigeons amongst the birds?
I love racing cars.
Yes.
I remember the 1991 was the last Formula One race at Kyalami.
Yeah.
And actually, at turn probably three and a half at Kyalami,
Yeah.
I recall standing up in the middle of the stands. It was a hot summer's day, so clearly may have had a beverage or two. And Duncan Foss, who will join us for our next story, our next little piece, was in the stands, and it was the most festive. It is an unbelievable atmosphere to be in the stands of a Formula One race and to hear those cars in your chest. But I think, let me not. Joe Sayward.
Yeah. This comes from Joe Sayward.
Joe Sayward.
For those of you who don't know
is
who
an
Joe Sayward is,
Google. He's an absolute legend. He's a grumpy guy, but he is unbelievably knowledgeable. He's been in Formula One for years and years and years, and he's a freelancer, so he's not attached to any of the magazines. Although his stuff does get published by
everybody else.
Motorsport.com, who apparently owns everything and all the rest of it. Anyway, so the rumor is in France now, is that, let's just put the facts as it comes out. He writes a green book, which is basically, he's a freelancer, so he gets paid by
nobody
to write columns. So he writes a story at the end of each race when he leaves the track, and he's got knowledge. He's got some books called Interesting Facts by Joe Sayward 1 and 2. Go and have a look at them on. I think you get them on. Where do they sell stuff on? Like that website that sells a whole lot of stuff. Not Google, the other one. Amazon. Go and have a look at Amazon. He's got 2 books. They're absolutely brilliant. There's short stories on the most amazing stuff. So it turns out that he meets Cyril Ramaphosa in 1991, and Ramaphosa tells him that he's around about the last F1 race, 1991. So before referendum and all the rest of the stuff, Ramaphosa tells him that he's a great fan of Formula One, and Sayward, because this is Africa, he parks it. Then at Paul Ricard this weekend, the story comes out that, Liberty are looking at a South African Grand Prix, and as part of the 1.2 trillion rand deal that, Ramaphosa went on a roadshow.
In other words, looking for investment into the country.
Yeah, so they went on this more of a big roadshow.
Yeah.
So now Oaks are saying, hold on a minute, we need a Grand Prix in South Africa. So that's the rumor, and from Joe Sayward's point of view, it's the most unbelievable thing to kickstart the economy, to tell, or particularly in tourism, and let everybody know that South Africa is open for business. But nowhere in the world does any motor racing happen without mega and huge, gigantic input from the government, to the point that Miami,
It's been scrapped.
No.
It's on the cards.
the calendar for next year hasn't been
Finalised yet.
finalized.
Yeah.
And if Miami makes it onto the calendar, the chances of it happening are less than 50% at the moment because politics. Then the other little interesting
Just before
thing,
you go there, just a couple of notes that are coming through here. To all you guys writing comments, greatly appreciated. First of all, hi, Simon, how are you? Nice
we'll
to have you on
we'll
board.
see you on the 10th of August, Simon,
Yeah,
in your G57 in PE with the Gooses.
yeah. And then Fernando Acrofeo. This is a nice comment. He says, your show's better than watching the soccer.
Particularly if you, well, not if you're a Korean fan. If you're
Or
a German fan, we miles better. If you're Korean, it's pretty.
Well, Fernando Acrofeo is actually Portuguese. So,
Como está, brother?
Fernando, how did the Portuguese go this afternoon?
Bem obrigado.
And Michael Volk says, watch the stupid soccer.
Well,
I should
why?
have
You
tuned
should
into
have been watching
earlier.
us.
Yes.
So let's just go with the whole politics thing. And the irony of ironies is Joe Sayward writes this as he drives. He leaves Paul Ricard, which is in the southwest of France. So if France was here, it's sort of in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And it's close to Marseille. And he goes and he's taking a 2-day drive to Osterreichring in Austria, stops over in.
Yeah.
So now he writes this story, but he's leaving Ricard, which has just had the most disastrous live experience of a Grand Prix. You can't get in. The French are grumpy. The government, the French in that area are not that
very,
happy with it.
yeah.
And in the same story where he says, oh, South Africa's looking for a Grand Prix, he goes on and he says, no, these Frenchmen need to play their politics right and take a Grand Prix to Paris because having it in the southeast of France sucks, and it might be there, and it's got to be in Paris, and this is where it can rock. The thing with Paris is that the greenies, those people, the green movement, where
Yes.
they don't like petrol and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't. There's a lovely park in Paris, and they want to have the race through there. And there's particularly a woman. We said women are winners,
Yeah.
but she's not a winner because she doesn't like the Grand Prix. Anyway, so now there's this whole thing. Miami's not going to take place, but there's all the other places. I've just got a couple of things, and I made some notes on my freehand using my device. Infrastructure, track access, flights, hotels, time zones. Time zones, awesome. Flights.
Where's that for PE?
No, this is for a Grand Prix.
Oh.
Flights, awesome. Track access, if it's car army, we screwed. There's one road in and one road out.
Don't knock anything.
No, you cannot move 50,000 people in
You mean
and
you're
out of
talking
that
about an
place
F1
a
in
day.
South Africa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about general.
The minor little thing is the two things: political will and the budget.
Yeah. And
If we are prepared,
if our government's going to go and chase this big investment in South Africa to put people back to work, where are they going to find the money for a Formula One Grand Prix?
and then, by the way, where are we going to find a track? Because Kyle Army hasn't got a license for it. You can't build one in Joburg. Cape Town think that they can have one there, but the DA can't even frickin' run a bath and...
No, let's not get nasty.
Whatever. No, you need the politics to run the place. Without the chief politician there...
Yeah.
And who's their mayor at the moment? Well, we don't know yet. They don't know who their mayor is.
Yes.
So your chances of... And a street circuit is 100... Sorry, Durban was 65 million rand. Mike Carroll, how much was it? 65 million rand to build Durban. Anyway. So
yeah, but in today's money, that 65
it's
million is going to be trebled.
And that was only for A1.
And that was dollars.
Guys, I would love to have a Grand Prix here. I don't think it's going to happen. We can't afford it, both politically and financially. So that brings us to the Mandela Bay Mopar
500.
11th of August in PE.
39 days to go, guys.
And this is the coolerest part of it. It's a 5 o'clock start to a 500 kilo race around PE. The difference between Swartkorps last week or 2 weeks ago and PE, there's a bit more light.
PE. It doesn't go around PE, it goes around the racetrack in PE.
But
you know, some of our fans get crazy. You know, I mean,
there's more lighting at the track.
Yes, Christopher from Vake says, "How's it from the UK, boys? Chris is my cabbie." I don't know who Chris is.
Okay, cool.
So don't confuse.
Christopher Mies.
No, Christopher van Wyk.
Anyway, no.
Christopher Mies is his cabbie.
Yeah, so...
Okay. So Christopher, we don't want to confuse Christopher.
Mopar 500.
Goes
Mandela
around.
Bay.
Aldo Scribante.
Aldo Scribante in PE, sorry.
Yeah.
I just meant the PE racetrack. Just been resurfaced, so it's quicker. It's kinder on tyres.
Yeah.
But we've got to see how that handles up.
No, next week we're going to get some definite info because there's been a race or two there. So we'll understand, compared to last year, compared to this year, Sparky
Bright. So what do we...
Sparky Bright will be sending us information as to how much the times have changed, which everybody in endurance racing will love.
So Bob Dylan always says the times are changing.
Yeah.
Entries haven't opened yet, but apparently His Highness, the great Lord Carruthers, will bring his Aquila from Cape Town that has been refettled, rebuilt, resorted, and all the rest of it.
Maybe Jan, remember Jan Engelbrecht when we were doing the last race?
Yep.
He was on board with us when we were talking to Duncan Foss and your mate Mr. Howie on the pit wall. And there were these two guys, one sitting in China and one sitting in Platinum Bay, arguing about who's challenging who to another race. So maybe we will see. Maybe we'll see Jan Engelbrecht. Maybe you're going to be in that Aquila with Francois Carruthers, and then maybe.
And the Aquila is basically it's a similar kind of car to the G57.
Yeah, Janetta G57.
Yeah, the G-Spot car. So Simon will claim it's not in the same league, but it's got a. It kind of looks like a Group C sports car.
It's got a big thing.
It's got a bit of a big engine in it.
It's got four of these on either side.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Okay, so and then we expect Lamborghini there as well. So Gianna Raccaro. You see, I can actually speak Italiano or Portuguese or Greek.
Gianna, open challenge. Bring your new Lamborghini to come play.
And then
there is a possibility
Duncan Foss
of a McLaren. Not the one we know of, another one.
I'm led to believe that there is more than one, but you know that there's one man who controls McLaren in South Africa. You do not want to cross him. And I think it would be really cool to sit down and have an honest discussion.
For you McLaren guys, those that own these race cars, we want to see you in PE. And then also, Duncan Foss.
Yeah, we had a chat with Dunky and his brother.
Bring that Juno. You want to come watch you play?
It's interesting times. And that, Gary, I'm getting also...
Simon Murray says, bring it on, Aquila.
Yeah, he would.
Nice one there, Simon.
You know, and let me tell you, it's a... In terms of tracks that are suited to the
G57, yeah.
The ideal, probably a Kyalami.
Yeah.
In fact, Slummies is East London, sorry. Is the best because it's got so many nice high-speed corners, but it's super bumpy.
Hey, sidekick.
Therefore, Kyalami is nice and smooth and all fast, so PE is tight, going to be super interesting. Going to absolutely love it. Ligia, Janetta, and all the rest of it. So, technical, thank you very much for joining us on another episode of...
Thanks for all the info.
Apparently, we've been...
I'm out here early, so I will see you guys next week.
The marketing consultants and sponsorship wizards have suggested a number of name changes for us. So we may be changing from Dirty Sweat to something else a little bit more. So if you have any names that you think are absolutely magnificent for this hour of cuck that we talk, please just let us know and we'll consider it. We pay in beer and pizza from Piccolino's in 4 ways. So, have a great week. See you next week, Wednesday. Cheers.